This is Francesca Gold, and we are going to do a little morning sadhana together. The first thing that you'll want to do is to prepare your space. So grab a blanket, grab a mat if you have one. You can grab some blocks and a bolster, maybe light a candle if you're able, and join us. Okay, so the first pose that we'll do is called a child's pose, and then we'll move into a tabletop position, okay? So of course, modify anything that doesn't work for you. If you want to put a little bit of extra padding under your knees, go ahead. So first is our child's pose. We can bring knees together or take them wide apart, sit back like this, right? You could even put a block or a bolster to sit on if the knees don't go as much back. Bring your head forward and down toward the ground. This is where you can also use your block. Maybe put your forehead on the lowest setting, or of course you have that medium and high setting as an option. Okay, I'm going to give another little pointer here. If this does bother your knees, you'll take your blanket and you'll actually squish it under your knees. So I'd recommend putting your head all the way down like this. I know it looks kind of silly, but it's really effective. And you want to snuggle the blanket all the way up so it's right behind your knee pit, and then sit back like this, okay? Then you can also add your block here. So that provides a lot of spaciousness in my lower body so that I can find a really nice child's pose. And this actually feels lovely. Okay, so this is your starting point. And a couple of rounds of inhale and exhale. And when you feel like you've centered yourself, maybe you take a moment right now to set an intention. And then we can move up into tabletop. So again, we can use blocks here and blanket as propping. You can put the blanket under your knees. You can also do it without your blanket. You can put your hands up on the blocks. You can also do it without your blocks, okay? So space between your fingers, not getting too much space here, but just about the same amount. Little bend to your elbows, especially if you hyperextend. And then imagine that someone's gonna put something on your back, right? So you wanna try to not round too much either direction, so flexion or extension, but find some neutrality in your spine. Look down. Bring your awareness to that space behind your ears and just lengthen through there, drawing the crown of your head forward and your tailbone back. Notice your breath in your belly here. Okay, so now we'll move into some sun salutations, and we're going to do a very simple version here. So clear your space. You can have your blocks up front, of course, to put your hands on them at any time, and then I'm going to keep my blanket there for my knees. So you'll start in mountain pose at the front of your mat. Breathe in, arms can go forward in front of you or out to the sides to come up overhead. Exhale, come into a forward bend. You can also do this in the chair. I'll show you that in a moment. Breathe in, come up halfway. Similar to what we did with tabletop, all that same cueing. And then breathe out, forward bend. Bend your knees here if you'd like. Plant your hands in the mat or onto your blocks, and we'll step back into a plank. And you can do this by putting your knees down if you want. Good. And then back into a down dog. This next part is optional if you want to move through the vinyasa portion. So you can come forward into a plank, lower your knees, your chest and your chin, and either scoot your butt back or push into your hands and pull your chest forward. That's the more challenging option. Pull the crown of your head forward, squeeze your shoulder blades together like you're trying to hide your elbows behind your back. Engage everything from your navel down, including your glutes. Push your quads into the mat. Lift up through the back of your head, shoulders away from your ears. Tuck your toes, come either through knees and hands or just push up into a push-up position and back into down dog. You can walk your feet forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Fingertips can come above your knees or maybe up onto your blocks, but you want to get some extension through your spine. Engage your low belly here. Exhale. And I like to roll up. If you have any low back pain, bend your knees a lot, bring your arms out to the sides, lift your wrists above your shoulders, and see how bent my knees are here as I stand up and come back to mountain pose, okay? So I'm gonna show this in a chair and I'll be right back. All right, so in your chair, you can sit all the way back and lean back. You can have one with a chair with arms if that's what's available to you or not. I like to put something under my feet because I'm a little teensy bit shorter than what chairs are made for in terms of height, so I just feel really sturdy here. And then you can also put blocks next to you or in front of you depending on how much space you have, okay? So close your eyes, take a breath in. You can reach your arms forward and up or out to the sides. Big inhale, and then exhale, bend forward. Hands can come down to your bolster or to your blocks. Let your head relax if that's comfortable for you. Inhale, push into your hands, pull your chest forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, lower down. Then we can start to roll up one vertebrae at a time, reach arms out, and exhale. Okay, and I'm going to show another very simple version on the mat that doesn't involve the vinyasa. Okay, so just to review. So breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. And come all the way up to stand. And breath out. Okay, so you have 3 different versions that you can work with as you're doing this part of your practice. So we'll do a couple more positions here. Next one is a pigeon pose or a figure 4 stretch, and then we'll end with a happy baby, okay? So with pigeon pose, you can also use props for this. So I'd recommend folding a blanket and make it pretty high and grab a bolster or something that has this kind of height if you have one. So we'll come into pigeon from tabletop. Good. Bring your right knee behind your right wrist, flex that right foot, and this is where, if you need it, the blanket comes under your hip. You sit back. Before you lean forward, you'll want to just extend your spine as much as you can. So I have a big arch in my low back, not necessarily what I'm going for, right? I'm a little bit high here for my body, so if I sink down a little bit more, it's not as intense. And then you can come forward, right? So that lengthens the spine. Feels real nice, even if you have the flexibility to use a bolster. And so this might not be for you today. The other thing you can do is simply come onto your back, cross your right ankle over your left thigh, and you can stay right here. You can put a block under your foot. You can pull your hamstring in. And then at some point, you might want to pull your shin in. There's also a way to do this at the wall, where you simply, in this case, put your left foot on the wall, and you can be passive here, letting your arms come out to the sides. Okay, you can flex that right foot, maybe gently press in to your right thigh, pressing it away from your face. Let your head rock from side to side. And then you'll switch sides. I like to stretch my legs up if I'm on my back, or go back and do a down dog or plank in between sides. So if you're at the wall, you'll simply cross the other ankle. And if you're on your back without the wall, remember you can use your block. Bringing this in if that's an option. And even if it is an option and you don't want to, remember you can always skip that part. And if you're doing pigeon facing the ground, you'll simply do the other foot, okay? So happy baby pose is our last one. You can do a full happy baby or a half. So if you can hold the big toes with your peace fingers and your thumb, letting your knee come towards your armpit. You can also just grab a hold of the foot anywhere you can get it, or just kind of hold your leg in, right? So the idea is you want this flexion to happen with your hip. If it doesn't feel good to pull it like straight in like this, don't do that. Let it come out at an angle. So for me, I know my right hip feels better when I bring it out like this, a little bit more, and then the left, better if it's in a little bit, okay? So full happy baby is using both arms, both legs. You can stay still or you can rock from side to side. And half would be just holding half, right? So stay here for as long as you would like. Rest into it. Release when you're ready. Okay, so setting up for a relaxation. Blanket is sometimes nice under your head. And if your low back is bothering you at all or tends to bother you, I'd say to put a bolster under your knees. And if you do that, grab your blocks, put them under your heels. Okay. So set a timer for yourself for 7 minutes. Allow your eyes to close. You can start by making sure you're comfortable here. First step is to get comfortable and to make sure that you are warm enough. If you notice that your chin is pointing up toward the ceiling, adjust your blanket. Maybe you give yourself a little bit more support under your neck. Allow your breath to slow down, long exhales. Relax the crown of your head, eyebrows, the inner and outer corners of your eyes, mouth, and throat. Relax across your chest. Center of your right shoulder, right elbow, and right wrist. Your left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist. Your thumbs, pointer fingers, middle fingers, ring and baby fingers. Soften the center of your chest, center of your abdomen, center of your pelvis, right hip, right knee, your ankle, your left hip, left knee and ankle, your heels, big toes, second toes, third, fourth toes, and fifth toes. Bring your awareness up the backs of your legs, into your glutes, your lower back, mid back, your upper back, tops of your shoulders, move away from your ears and toward the floor. And let your head be heavy. Your focus comes to the base of your nostrils, observing your breath as it moves in and out through your nose. Breathe in, chest and belly rise. Breathe out, chest and belly fall. Anytime your focus moves away from your breath, bring it back. And I'll let you know when it's time to do anything else. gently begin to deepen your inhale. And let your exhale get a little bit longer. And start to bring movement into your fingers and toes. Then one knee, and then the other. Roll over to one side. You can use your arm as a pillow, and we'll rest on the side for just a minute or so. Letting your body rest, letting your mind rest in this in-between space. And leading with the bottom part of your spine, right? So bringing your hands in front of you, situate yourself so you can put your feet and your hands on the ground, and roll up one vertebrae at a time, letting your head stay down low. And come up into a seat. So we'll do 3 minutes of Ujjayi pranayama here. And your lips will be closed. You'll breathe in and out through your nose. And there's a couple of different ways that this breath is described. Sometimes it's described as an ocean sounding breath, like you're pulling in, you're texturizing the air that you're bringing into your lungs by constricting the tissues in the front and the back of your throat. You might feel it up in like your soft palate area, if you know where that is. It's like that soft area, the kind of back part, like right in your mouth. And then also this breath is described as Darth Vader, right? So it's a pretty distinctive sound. So you'll want to sit up tall. I'm sitting on a bolster here with my legs crossed, arms at your sides, chin a little bit tucked so that we're not bringing chin up like this. Right? You can even turn your palms up on your lap. Allow your eyes to close. And as you breathe in through your nose, you're pulling the air in down into your throat in a texturized way. So again, it might sound like Darth Vader, it might sound like the ocean, it might not sound like anything at first, and that's okay. This is probably new if you've never done this before, been taught how to do this, and sometimes it might take a little practice, okay? So it's a breath in, chest and belly rise, and then exhale through the nose. Same thing, restrict the tissue in the front and back of your throat. Okay, try it a few more times. So sometimes when people do this practice, they experience some more saliva coming into their mouth. So just take a break, swallow the saliva. If you ever need to just take a break from it in general and use your mouth to breathe, please do that and keep practicing it. We'll do this practice for 3 minutes. And next is the Om mantra. So we'll do that 3 times and then a seated meditation for 3 minutes, okay? So Om, we have 4 parts to Om. Ah, you want to open your jaw up wide, like there's a train coming through. And then O, more at the front of your mouth, right? So the ah is back here, ah, and then O, and then and then some silence at the end. So 4 parts, okay? So we'll do this 3 times together. Breathe in. Breathe in.
You can keep your eyes closed. Do a 3-minute meditation here. I'd suggest bringing your focus to your breath, moving in and out through your nose. And anytime you notice your mind starts to wander, keep bringing your focus back here. Thanks for practicing with me. Have a wonderful day. So glad that you are here with us, and reach out if you have any questions at all. Thanks.